Welcome back, everyone, to Total Nonstop Impact Talk for Impact fans, right here on the YouTube and the Twitch, and wherever you get your podcast audio worldwide, baby. That's right. This is the review post TNA show. Myself and Mr. Front Row Bill joining you this evening to bring you everything TNA. What's up, Bill? How you doing?
Doing good, J-Bone. I'm still living the dream here. Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds.
For those of you that
John Palmer in the chat. At the parade. Got my spot. Waiting. I'll be there. I'm thinking we'll see. I'll be on the Parkway somewhere.
Nice. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Bill is home to Philly. That's his home where he lives. And of course he's gonna back the Eagles. I really didn't have anything, I had no stock in the game. But just for this, but for the sake of anything, I supported my brother. I was like, yeah, I hope the Eagles win. Did it seem like they were going to win? Honestly, I feel like the odds were really against them. But man,
they were the underdog.
That other team did not even show up.
It was like a wrestling match, J-Bone.
It was. It was a.
They just laid the beat down.
It was it's like what I like to call a squish, which is worse than a squash.
It was a squish game.
It was totally was.
But I'm sure fellow TNA people are celebrating. The Voice, Tom Hannafin, Penn State guy, Saquon Barkley. So we know he's enjoying it. Gail Kim, who was at the Super Bowl with Chef Robert. So definitely some TNA folks happy about the win. So
there you go.
Good stuff. Start to a great week. And we got a lot of news today, J-Bone.
Oh, a lot of news.
But there's some great news. There's some great news that we got today.
Yeah, there's news all over the wrestling industry. We're not going to cover everything, like your typical podcast would. We're going to keep it close to the TNA chest, if you will. But before we dive into all the latest news that happened over the last, I'd say, 24 hours or so, we do want to recognize Dr. Gerbs in the chat. Super chat with the 20 spot. Thank you so much, brother. Greatly appreciated. Says, have a good show. Catch y'all on the replay. Still time. Looks like Cat Love for 25% off. Step into the ring and get C4 spiked. Orange, black pepper, orange, bergamot. I don't know. Woody Notes by Josh Alexander. I'm not an employee. I'm just an advocate. Thank you, Dr. Gerbs. Sporting the old
advocate.
The advocate, yes. With the beard game there. Strong beard game. All right. What else we got here? We got a lot of usual faces in here. Great to see. I want to say thank you to our members. Appreciate it. Few, but special. It's a great way to help support the show. Different levels. You get special things in the chat and such. And
yeah, definitely. If you can, the support is always appreciated.
But whether it's that or super chats, or you know what? What's the best, Bill? Just smashing that like button, smashing that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you guys know when we go live, whether it's us, Team TNI or your Team TNI UK brethren from across the pond. Make sure you go check them out.
Across the pond.
They're up to episode, 217? They're doing great.
That's a lot of episodes. I don't know how many episodes we got, J-Bone, but it feels like a lot.
Oh, you know what? I did okay in math. I didn't do that good. I don't think I could count that high. Honestly, I would probably need a calculator.
You might. Well, speaking of a calculator, and we just had Dr. Gerbs with a promo code, I'd be remiss not to mention that once again, TNAmerch.com advertised a 20% off code that will only be if you're listening live now through the end of today, February 13th. So you definitely want to take advantage of that if you have been eyeing up, because there's a lot of new merch. I know at times we would go over it on the like what's been new and added, but the code live 20, that's LIVE 20 on TNAmerch.com, 20% off today only. So definitely if you've been eyeing some up, and they got a lot of new stuff, and I'll admit I made a purchase tonight.
Oh, you did? What did you buy?
Something that I don't think TNA has ever offered before, but is now on the website, and something I can use at shows. I got a pair of the TNA sneakers.
Sneakers? Where do you get TNA sneakers, bro?
TNAmerch.com.
No. What? Okay,
you haven't been paying attention to the website. They got a lot of new stuff on there.
Well, I know they've got a lot of new TNA labeled merch. Like, for example, the Rascals were wearing some of that to the ring. Had the TNA on it. There's like a regular tee, and then there's like a camo tee. Mm-hmm. There's lots of different stuff, but I'm on their Twitter. I'm not seeing anything for the merch. The last thing I'm seeing is from like an hour ago. Where did you see?
Oh, I'll send you a little link on our private thing. You can.
Or was it the email that you got?
No. It's on the website, but you got to look around.
Oh.
So here, I'm gonna go do a little search. I'm gonna see what category it's under.
New T-shirts. Yeah, it's not on the front page. I'm on the page. I'm scrolling on the page right now.
I think it's under. You know what? You gotta. Oh, it's under footwear and bottoms. If you go on the website, you'll see it.
Oh, there's a lot of new stuff. Wow. Fleece shorts, track pants, sweatpants, socks. Honey, can I get some TNA socks?
There you go.
TNA logo men's athletic shoes. Do they even have my size?
They go up to a size 13, which is my size. So I bought it.
That's my size. I got some big ass feet. You know what they say about guys with big feet? They got big stinks. But I'm bummed. All right. So, no, that's great to see. They got different hats.
Yeah, so a lot of new merch on the site. You can definitely
bucket hat. They got a pink.
Pretty much free shipping, at least. You're getting free shipping and a little bit more, depending on what you're getting.
Okay. So yeah, I'm still not seeing this coupon.
Oh well, that was on the broadcast. It was on the screen. Live 20. Okay. Yeah, LIVE 20. So it seems like on Thursdays they do it every Thursday. That's similar to, like, I believe WWE does that too. Like, they'll be like, "Oh, tonight only. Here's a code."
There you go.
Gotta pay attention.
As I'm just trying to stay awake. Here they're throwing, links at me. What?
It's too much of the bone, man.
It's hard. It's hard work being a bone man. It's hard work. All right. The company, Antonio Baker here, says the company just got their Lee fitting. For those of you that don't know, he's a guy that works hand in hand with Triple H, I believe, behind the scenes.
Triple H.
He's would you call him the replacement for Kevin Sullivan? Maybe, I don't know.
Kevin Sullivan.
I know a lot of people were happy when Kevin Sullivan went bye-bye. No more of the camera going like this.
Now you're not thinking Kevin Sullivan. You're thinking of Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn. Sorry. Kevin Sullivan was a wrestler. My bad. Rest in peace.
Well, yeah. There's that Kevin Sullivan, and then there was a Kevin Sullivan that worked for TNA.
Oh, and then the
production guy that went to AEW.
He
and then left.
TNA.
Then he's out. Yeah.
Left. Boo. Just as things really started to get going a handful of years ago, he left us. But let's talk about some of these changes. So these positive changes that have happened now over the last 24 hours.
Do we want to get to those changes, or do we want to get to the good news first? Or are we saving the good news for last?
You know what? Do the good news first.
Yeah, we got to have good news first. Because the other one, it's obviously some people getting opportunities, but also some people we know no longer. So it's both. It's a mixed bag, the other news.
It is.
But before we do it, I know Mayor and others still want the jingle. We don't got the jingle ready yet. We're still working on the jingle. I thought we got the jingle, but I don't think we have the jingle yet. I thought I saw it at one point, but I guess it's not. But it's that J-Bones News. Not that fake wrestling news. There you go, J-Bone.
We'll put a little hip hop under it. No, maybe not. All right. All right. Are we talking about see, now I'm confused because I don't even know what's. Are you talking about the April show? Is that what you're talking about?
I am not, J-Bone. It's somebody's birthday.
Okay. Sorry. My bad. Yes, absolutely. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about a little share. Whoops. Hang on. Let me get it on the right thing here. I'm pretty sure we can share this because it's just off of
100%. 100%, J-Bone.
Yeah.
And if they, and I don't care.
This is just amazing news. This is we're so happy about get that off of there. There we go. All right, ready? Oh, there you go.
Green Rooney.
There we go. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, let's play this. Get this. Mr. Chris Bay getting up unassisted from a chair and walking towards the camera. Now, along with this post, let me drop this back to this. No, I can't. Can I expand this? I can expand wristband. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'll read this. This is from Chris Bay. Today I turned 29. Blessed to see. October 27th, 2024, I suffered a life injury in Detroit at the TNA event while sharing the ring with my partner Ace Austin and some of my idols, the Hardys. This would be the scariest moment of my life as I tried to get up to my feet and finish the match only to realize I couldn't move. I was laid out paralyzed in the middle of the ring. I was ashamed for not being able to finish the match. I was embarrassed and I was scared. Thanks to our incredible ringside doctor and team in TNA, I was rushed to a nearby hospital and quickly underwent a surgery fusing my C6, C7, and a spinal cord fusion C6, T1. If it weren't for TNA and their quick reaction to the accident, I may not be here today. They've been so helpful throughout the entire journey. Man, just that starting paragraph right there, Bill, is just wow, because a lot of us really didn't know. We heard he was injured. We didn't know details, nothing. When I woke up the next day, I was overwhelmed with the amount of love around me and the amount of love from the wrestling community. I was devastated with the idea that my lifelong dream and 8-year wrestling career was over. I sat there paralyzed from the neck down with no promise of ever walking again. Specifically, I was told it would be likely with a 10 to 25% chance. I also had no usage of my hands, which is why I didn't post or respond to anything. I spent about a week in the ICU, 50 days in a spinal cord rehab in Detroit, doing therapy 6 days a week for 3 hours a day, sometimes longer. December 28th, I was able to go home. Since I've been home, I've been in therapy, working as hard as I can. I've had an incredible support team. There's so many people I want to thank, but if I can narrow it down to a few, I must thank my family, my TNA family, the dedicated staff in Detroit, my brother Ace Austin for never leaving my side. Whew. Man. And my amazing girlfriend, Brittany Brooks, for being there every single step of the way while I was at my absolute lowest. If you reached out, donated, bought merch, said a prayer, or did any little thing, even as simple as sharing a thought about me, thank you. I'm eternally grateful for every single one of you. Because of you, even on my hardest days, I've never given up. Because of you, I've lived my dream and, in my opinion, helped inspire others to do the same. There's so much more to this story, and I will be telling all the details soon, but please allow me the time to get there. Last paragraph here says, today you see me celebrating life and taking the steps they said would be unlikely. For 3 weeks, I've been out of my wheelchair, learning to walk again. Nothing is impossible. You just have to believe and do the work. I thank God every second. I thank you every second. I will never, or will I ever wrestle again? Never say never. I'm just so grateful to be alive. I don't know what my purpose is, but I know there's something meant for me to do. For now, I just hope to continue to heal as my body is still in a lot of pain. It's going to be a long road, but I will not give up. This will be the greatest story ever told. I love you all, Chris Bay.
It doesn't get any sweeter than that, J-Bone.
Man. That is...
And that's why everybody was waiting for Chris to say it himself.
Yeah.
Because like, we all knew, like obviously from the get-go, like I remember seeing it happen live. And it's one of those things where you know it's something serious, but you never know with those things. Like, is it something that maybe is not as bad as it looks, which luckily a lot of the time it isn't. But in this business, in this industry, we've seen these injuries happen where it can be the worst. And in this case it was. And you knew pretty soon after the way a lot everything that was coming out and everything they were like people were putting on the whole industry, like beyond TNA, the whole wrestling business, rallied to support them. Like you knew it was very serious. But now obviously the time he's put in the rehab to get to where he is now, really not that long afterward, being given those chances, like obviously all great signs moving forward with a lot of work to go. But I know we said on this show, like, we're not, don't even worry about, like, just get healthy, Chris. Like keep getting in there. That's what we all want to see. Like, if that ever comes to beyond that in this business, great. But we just want to see you be healthy, live your life however you want to. Like, as you're saying, like, find that purpose. Like, obviously there's no doubt he's going to do that. And it's just like, that's the best news you can see. And on his birthday too, to put it out there. That's something that was special.
Oh yeah.
You don't get to see that much. And just like for him to do that, to put it out to everybody, something that he's been dealing with so privately, to publicly put it out there for the world. That's obviously, he acknowledges have been supporting him so much. Like he is one of the like just those great guys in this business. So it's great to see that.
You know, talk about hard work paying off, and he, you know, coming from a little indie in around Vegas, right? West Coast.
Yeah,
area.
future stars of wrestling.
Yeah. And yeah, just
he's doing a benefit show for him next month.
There you go. David Penzer, thank you for joining us. Says, you'd think I'm kidding, but I knew absolutely nothing. Was scared to death for months. Real tears when I saw him stand up today.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. Like, I think it was a close, tight-knit group that probably really, like, obviously Ace Austin by his side a lot, but they're like, really, I think that was the case with a lot of people. It's just like, you don't know. Like, and that's, you could just wish them the best, send prayers, the thoughts, just like he was saying. But that's the thing, like, you don't want to get too far because you just never know. And the same thing, just like David, it's like you fear the worst, but you hope for the best. And today was just like, it's such a big moment now in hoping for that best case scenario.
Yeah, he's on the road, you know, and no matter how far he gets, it's still just the fact that he's come this far is a massive milestone.
Yes.
So good to see. So we you know, now we know the basics of what happened, you know, and yeah. Oh, T. Hughes in the chat says, apart from RVD spilling the beans. See, I didn't even see. I heard he said something about it, but I didn't.
Yeah, he, like, on his podcast, he put some of it out that he visited him and stuff like that, but he didn't get obviously into that extent. But you could tell he was, because he even says, like, oh, I don't know if I should be saying this. Obviously, that was the case, because I think everybody, the ones that did know anything, were holding it back. So I think he caught himself a little bit not to go too far. But obviously, Chris is in Vegas, like that. He's a Vegas guy, and that's where RVD is. So I'm sure, like, a lot of those more local guys out there probably had a little better idea on some stuff going on with him lately. But that's obviously going through something like that. Like obviously we saw similar with Joe Doring in the past with the cancer and coming back from that. But that's something everyone handles how they want to handle. That's, you just give everyone the respect to deal with things how they want it to come out, how they want to address things. So I'm glad that he was able to do that. But yeah, I think just like everything else, it does feel like kind of like there was something we were all like kind of in the back of our minds. Like it was just like a cloud over there. It's like, and depending on when, like, because you would see some of the stuff that they'd be putting on there about Chris Payne, you're like, man, I wonder what's really happening. Like, hopefully he's progressing, and to get confirmation on that today, it just makes the whole wrestling community feel a lot better about how things are going. So that was great news to hear today. That's why I'm saying like that. Like no matter what, that's the best news we could get today.
That is. It truly is. Yeah. So yeah, and so along with that, we saw a lot of moving pieces happen in behind the scenes in TNA as far as production, president, a lot of different positions. So we got confirmation yesterday that some people are, unfortunately gone from the company, and TNA wished them well on their endeavors, and those people. And as far as I know, these are the only people. I don't know if there's anyone else specifically that was mentioned, but the main ones that were mentioned was Josh Matthews and Chrissy Hemme was
Hemme Powered.
Yeah, Hemme Power. Yeah. Oh man, I like Josh Matthews, but I don't think I'll ever refer to him as the GOAT. I know you have for the longest time. So
I've always been a big Josh fan.
He's done a lot of great things behind the scenes.
And he was a long time guy, man. He was with this company a long time in a lot of different roles, a lot of different hats. Yeah. Like I applaud him going into all those different roles. Like definitely a company man. Like
he was.
If you like probably the comparison pre him, and obviously they worked together, they overlapped, was Borash. But he had become the modern Borash, kind of doing everything in the company over the years. But yeah, now I've always enjoyed seeing Josh at the shows over the years. And obviously, I know obviously because he was a heel announcer for a bit, and then the angle with the Grand Championship and all made him more of a divisive figure in the company.
Yeah.
But now I definitely wishing him the best. But and obviously we'll get into the reasons why this seems like these things are happening, because obviously you get new people overseeing the production of the show. They're going to want to probably have their own people or new ideas.
Right. There's going to be new teams brought into place, and let's look at a few posts. This is from PW Insider. TNA statement on the new president. Okay, so they changed presidents. Anthony, I can't think of the guy's name. Siccione, is that close?
Yeah.
So he's not. So he's not president anymore, but he's still with Anthem.
Yes. And it seems like he'll still have involvement with TNA, but just not in the president role.
Right.
Is what.
Right. So he's still somewhere in the company of Anthem. He's just not president anymore. So what they did was, it seems like, well, here the statement says the new TNA president is Carlos Silva. George Veras is the new executive producer of the Anthem Sports Group. George is a 10-time Emmy Award-winning president and chief executive officer of Pro Football Hall of Fame Enterprises, as well as president of Veras Communications Incorporated. So he's got his own shebang going, he's got his own team. Josh Matthews and Chrissy Hemme are no longer with the company. We appreciate their commitment to TNA throughout the years and wish them well in their future endeavors. This other post here says, as of today, TNA restructuring behind the scenes. PW Insider is told that John E. Bravo and Ingrid Isley are now working in the talent relations aspect of the company. I think that's great.
For two of the longtime members.
Oh, absolutely. Bravo has worked on camera in different roles for the company over the years and has long been a trusted backstage asset. Isley is a floor manager for TNA events. Both are extremely well liked internally, so the ascension in responsibility was not a surprise. That department headed by Gail Kim. Mm-hmm. So Gail Kim is still the head of talent relations, and her team is now John capital E period Bravo and
gotta get it right now. Now he's moving up in the world.
Yes. Right. Yes. And Ingrid Isley. So congrats to both of them. Well deserved.
And we know they've been longtime friends of the show. I know they don't usually pop in comments, but they might be listening out there. So we wish them both the best.
Absolutely.
Friends of the show.
Yeah, two of the hardest working people behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, I mean, you definitely can't knock either of their work ethic at the shows for sure. If you're there, like if you're watching on TV, you notice it probably a lot. But if you're there live, you really notice it. Them too, they're all about it.
Oh, David Penzer here.
Well, you gotta highlight it.
I don't know if I didn't know if I should show this or not. It says Josh was a disrespectful prick to me for years. He was no goat. He was a cunt. Oh my God. And I don't say that word often, especially with the misses in the next game. But wow. Okay. We continue.
And I know I did see recently. I know David has done some interviews recently because with his, I believe, the next volume of his book that either just came out or is about to come out. More of the current, because remember it was the WCW days, but right. I know he spoke a lot about the issues with Josh on a couple of these. But I can definitely see that for sure. And definitely, hey, we're always going to respect the legend David Penzer's opinion here too. So
you're right.
So yeah, definitely don't want anyone feeling like that. And I don't know though. I don't know overall, but and obviously the GOAT, that was more the that was his character back then.
Right.
The GOAT of broadcasting.
Right. Yeah. Because when he was like more arrogant, I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that was his character, but you never know. Sometimes character and real life can transition. So like that's sometimes the best characters are based off who actually you are. So
there you go. We want to thank Bell's Boy real quick. We intervene into the part of the news here. Super chat 20 spot. Thank you so much. Evening, fellas. Nick Nemeth taking time off. TNA reorganizes the front office or back office, whatever. Mustafa Ali is a fantastic coach. Tessa is straight fire, and I love the King Bees, former NWA women's tag champs. Wow, okay. I hope the new regime signs them. Well, they had a great match tonight. We'll get into more of that a little later. But thank you, Bell's Boy, for the support.
Yes,
Much love, man.
And as we were talking restructuring for we don't get too far off, because we were talking about before we went live, but also Mark Brown, who worked for Ring of Honor during the Sinclair days.
Oh, yeah.
As a director of production and also New Japan in the States.
Yeah.
So that's another name that's going to be involved.
Right. Yeah. That was just this last article I was going to read. Says that behind the scenes TNA changes. This is the last one I got. It says earlier this afternoon, PW Insider reported that a new executive was brought on board by TNA to work in an executive producer role. We have since learned that the new exec is George Veras, He has worked with ABC Sports, NBC, CBS, NFL, Today series, the Cleveland Browns. And hey, Sammy's got to be happy about that, right? Sami Callihan.
Well, he's not a Browns fan.
I thought he was.
He's a Bengals fan.
Oh, my bad. I knew
Wrong
it was
Ohio team.
I am so sorry. He's gonna fucking kill me now. and the Football Hall of Fame, among other entities, over his long broadcast career. The belief is Varys will be putting together his own team, which is why there were departures today, including Josh Matthews, who worked in the truck during events as a producer. Okay, so that makes sense. It's unfortunate, but it makes sense. He's going to bring in his own team. PW Insider has also been told that Mark Brown, who is director with Ring of Honor when it was owned by Sinclair Broadcast Group, that's significant, and has worked with New Japan Pro Wrestling and their events in the United States in the past, is coming in as a director for TNA. We are told he has recently been around for several shows recently. Good. So they were kind of warming him up.
And that's what we heard, like after David Sahadi was no longer with the company, that they had brought in people, but names were never really, but people with industry experience is kind of how it was phrased. Right. And honestly, I may have seen them, but I wouldn't recognize these people. Like there's some people I recognize over the years in this business. But a lot of them I like, especially backstage, unless I've interacted with them at some point or they have connections to TNA in the past, I probably would not recognize them.
So it says to wrap up the article here, it says, while Anthony Ciccione has exited his role with TNA, we are told he is remaining with Anthem. He was in the role as TNA president for a year. There does not appear to be any changes to the creative side of the company. For those who have asked, PWInsider.com has reached out to TNA for comment. And
that's where they gave that statement.
That one, that part that So lots of changes behind the scenes, production-wise, very exciting. And you've got to think that some of this has to do with production in these what I'm guessing is larger venues.
Yeah.
Because
that's the thing, like the New Japan venues, I guess those Ring of Honor, but obviously the New Japan, when they did play a lot of those stage shows, they were those multi-thousand seat venues. Like not obviously like they're playing a hockey arena. They didn't really go that big. But they did some pretty decent sized venues. So I'm sure that does play a part because there are intricacies to all that. So having some more people that are familiar with that and have experience in there definitely does not hurt for sure. So no, we'll see. We'll see for sure.
Yeah. So yeah. All right, so that's a good chunk of the behind the scenes stuff that happened, but there was one big announcement during the show that I do want to plug into the news here, and that was the announcement of, you ready for this? This is pretty big.
Wow.
TNA Unbreakable live April 17th at the Cox Pavilion, Las Vegas, Nevada. Pre-sale Wednesday, February 19th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Tickets on sale Friday, February 21st, 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Viva Las Vegas.
So that's part of Mania weekend. And it seems like now that is a Thursday, correct?
It is a Thursday. We don't know what time the show is. When they announced it, they're saying on TNA Plus. Now, once again, that wording can be a little, you can take it both ways. Is it going to be the Thursday night show, a live Thursday night TV show? Or is it going to be like the monthly TNA Plus special that will go on after the show?
Yeah. Well, they got a
like, will it
pay-per-view.
be tune in and we're going to have a pay-per-view? Because, well, because that's not long after that either.
Right. They got a pay-per-view like, what, a week later?
Yes, very, very, very shortly. Very shortly.
That's the Rebellion pay-per-view that they've been advertising.
In LA.
Yeah. They're also, I mean, they're advertising so many events. It's so great to see. You got Sacrifice coming up middle of March. You got the following tapings a couple weeks after that in
April 27th.
Missouri.
So 10 days later. 10 days later.
Yeah. And that is in Los Angeles. And
then they're probably going to do a unconfirmed, but a live show the Thursday after Rebellion in either California or back in Vegas, I would imagine, because they're going to keep it local to that area somewhat within a couple hours, like 3, 4, 5 hours. So, yeah, a lot of.
See, my guess would be just zip back to Florida for where you're going this week.
Yes. This time next week we'll be in the Orlando area at Full Sail University. Back to Florida.
And now you said that's the first time you've been there, right?
The Full Sail, yes.
Yeah.
NXT in Florida for me has been at the Performance Center. I did not go while I was at Full Sail in the past.
Okay.
So that'll be like I said, I've parked in the parking lot at Full Sail and taken the bus over, but I have not actually been at a show inside Full Sail. So that'll be a first time for me.
Nice. That'll be very exciting. So yeah, TNA really making some big news here, some big moves. So congrats to them. It's a very exciting time for this company. They're making some big moves. And I think we're far from over as far as seeing more moves being made in a positive light. And, when you hear moves like this being made, I think big picture wise, that makes it more inviting for more wrestlers to actually want to come wrestle for TNA.
Oh, yeah. I think you're looking at it now. Like, obviously, you got the relationship with WWE, with NXT. You're playing bigger venues. Like, I know unrelated, and we don't get into it. You can always check the Ramblers Unleashed on the YouTube that covers such topics. But, like, you had Ricky Starks show up on NXT on Tuesday.
Huge.
But once again, that's a guy that wasn't being used, wanted a bigger. But then I know I've already saw some armchair IWC people saying, well, you're playing in front of smaller crowds. Not really. When you're looking at our boy JDC lifting up those ratings beyond some other companies, maybe the company he was at, and then they still play venues that are on like the same ilk. And then you still have, obviously, the whole thing is there. It's the avenue to WWE. So if you're there, you're playing in the biggest venues in the business. So that's definitely like that. There's reasons why, and that's what TNA is doing. Like, and we've talked about before, the great thing about a lot of the wrestlers coming up now, they grew up as fans of TNA. So and I'll be honest, when they
were number 2 at the time.
Yeah, when they made the move, like there was, and some of it was for TNA's fault, some of it wasn't, but there was TNA fatigue in the wrestling business. It was like the dirt sheets constantly mocking them, going after them all the time, which they don't do for some other companies, but they were doing it to TNA. So when they moved to just Impact Wrestling, taking over the name, it kind of made sense. But them going back to TNA, that also made sense. So, and now they're capitalizing on it because people have that nostalgia for the brand now, while also seeing like they were the number 2 wrestling company in the world.
Yeah.
And they're leaning into that. Like they were the alternative for quite a while in the wrestling business. And they still are, because it's just look at what they're doing. And they're really finding like what looks like a long-term solution. Like it wasn't that long ago that it was unknown what was happening with the company. I always had some confidence going forward, but there was an era where it looked pretty not positive. And those days are long gone now. I was at a set of tapings where people working there were all in tears. Like it was, they said goodbye. Everyone said goodbye to each other at those tapings. And it seemed like there was not going to be another show. And it stayed.
That's tough.
And they stayed alive, hard to kill. And now thriving. From going to that to playing a 17,000 seat hockey arena, we'll see what he gets set up for. But if it's even set up for an all-time TNA attendance record, that's fantastic. Like just kudos to what the company's doing.
Oh yeah. Oh, here, I just want to quick point this out. Javon says, I grew up when TNA had Goldilocks, good times, LOL. Well, if you want some really good interviewing.
Some J-Bone Downey Jr.
Oof. We interviewed Goldilocks as part of our coverage of, we reviewed all the TNA Asylum episodes 1 through 111, whatever it is. And as part of that, we had a few people from that era on the show. We interviewed the SAT twins. We interviewed Goldilocks. We had Russo on once. We had some great interviews. And Goldilocks, if you don't know, she's still performing live today. In fact, her new single just came out recently, and she did with Mickey James. And it's a great song. It's a good rockin' kind of song. Yeah, still tremendous voice. So yeah, go check that out. Still love Goldilocks.
Yeah, support Goldie.
So yeah, and she made me blush like, oh my God. You got to see the interview. Okay. Just go find it.
You have to see it to believe it.
It's on this channel. You got to see it to believe it.
It's an all-timer. It's up there. It's up there for the all-time TNI interviews.
Yeah.
Because it's just like so all over the place, but in a fantastic way. Like very on brand for us.
Yeah. Yeah. The stories she told. What was another good one we had? Oh, we had Chris Harris on, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Wildcat. Can't go wrong.
Amazing. Wildcat Chris Harris. One of the best interviews we ever had. Swag fan, thank you. $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Says TNA should get a title with wings like a phoenix. Oh.
I like that.
As in rising from the ashes like a phoenix. Oh, there's a mellow yellow.
They call it mellow yellow.
Bill, did you know that if you mix mellow yellow with the blue Powerade, it tastes a lot like Baja Blast?
Ooh. For a second, I thought you were going to go Ecto Cooler on me, but Baja Blast. I like a Baja Blast.
I love me some Baja Blast. Oh, and speaking of special flavors, I was just at a Quick Trip today, and we heard a new Mountain Dew, strawberry
I
something.
think I saw that. I did not try that. I'm not like one of the ones that goes, "Oh, there's a new flavor." That honestly, you guys know me on this show. I'm a iced tea man.
Yeah.
I like my diet iced tea. Using my diet iced tea. But I occasionally, actually, this is when I stopped by my parents. My dad had grabbed a case of Mellow Yellow. He bought it online. He's like, "Take a couple of Mellow Yellows."
Nice.
I do like a Mellow Yellow, so I'm like, I will.
Yeah, it's different. I think the people that forget Mellow Yellow, they like me. I hadn't had one in ages, and then found out my restaurant had it, and I'm like, yeah.
Well, now with the freestyle Coke machines,
yeah,
they're always available now. But I remember there wasn't any, like you had to go down to like South Carolina just to get Mellow Yellow.
Oh yeah,
like beyond.
Yeah,
now
up
it's north,
place.
like the Northeast, you weren't sniffing.
Right. So, all right. Shall we jump into tonight's episode? We only covered like an hour's worth of news.
We'll take a dip. Oh, there was a lot of news.
There was, yeah, a lot of big
and
companies.
Last thing, because there was we said Chris Bay's birthday. Happy birthday to the Extreme, Tommy Dreamer.
Oh,
Speaking
nice.
of creative, and as a obviously original ECW guy, I gotta pay my respects to the legend, Tommy Dreamer.
Yes, he actually made an appearance on the show today.
And he did make an appearance on the show today.
Putting over a possible future champ.
Oh.
Yeah. Nice to see that. All right. So we start out this February 13th, Thursday the 13th, episode of TNA Impact with the championship match. We got two of them tonight, Bill. We got Joe Hendry versus Jake something. What'd you think of this opening match?
Nice way to start the show. Like our champ leaning into Joe. And like we know last week we kind of got he was out doing the concert. And then we had the challenge, obviously, from Jake something to come out to be like, all right, like let's get the fighting champion Joe Hendry going. And but I thought he came out. He from his entrance, like he looked intimidating. Looked like all right, give him a fight. He's here to fight and have a scrap with the champ. And I thought he did a good job in there. But obviously the champion, and we talked about it, like. He's going to have to go through some of the roster now. He's going to have to cement himself as a champ. And I think there's probably going to be people, regardless, you're going to probably disagree with some people he goes over. But that's what you got to do. You can't just bring a bunch of outsiders in to have them pile up a lot of victories. Like, if you're the world champ, you got to beat people.
You're right.
And sadly, because of, obviously, the Hammerstone injury, which – I saw Hammerstone post some stuff. It looks like he's progressing, which is good.
That's good.
Hammerstone. But then obviously we know post this, Jake's hurt, and I don't know really the extent of his injury. I'm not sure how long he'll be out, but no, it's good to see him get these opportunities because I think they will pay off in the end.
Yeah. He's no schmuck in the ring. I think he's got to work on some stuff, but I feel like he has made a lot of progress since his first time in the company.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good match with Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry gets the win here. Now, kind of a hot mess here. You got Santino. Well, first you get Ryan Nemeth.
My brother.
He's oh my god. You know, Ryan Nemeth is starting to become like that uncle at the party that's like everyone just kind of avoids, like, oh, by the way, Uncle, you know, so and so is here. And it's like, oh, really? Okay. And you know, he's starting to get that character, which is hilarious. Those acting skills are paying off. It's Hollywood.
The Hollywood hype.
The Hollywood hunk, yes. Nick comes down. Nick ends up now. This is I'm gonna have to like watch how this all went sideways really quick. I think Jake something started
Joe, and then went after Ryan Nemeth.
he went after Joe, and then he went after Ryan. So Nick Nemeth super kicked Jake, didn't knock him off his feet. He wobbled him.
So he tried again.
He went for super kick number 2, missed Jake, hit Santino square in the face. Oh my God.
That son of a gun.
That son of a gun went down in a heap. So I was like, wow, what is going on here? What is going to happen with this? So we find out after this, you know, Santino's sitting there backstage. He's rubbing his jaw, and he's like, "You guys, he's like, I'm gonna suspend you for 4 weeks." He's like, "You can't go doing this," you know. He's like, I realize it was an accident, but you know, I got to do something here. I can't just not do anything. So no Nick Nemeth for 4 weeks.
Interesting timing.
With what's coming up next week, the tapings, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like no full sale Nemeths. No full sale Nemeths.
Yeah. Ryan was inquiring with Santino, like, hey, am I still getting paid? You know, so which I found hilarious. Like,
of course not.
It's like, no, pack your stuff, get out of here. It's just we'll see if she shows up.
Got a couple hot dogs to go.
Yeah, right. No handshake for you, sir. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's interesting, the timing of this. I don't want to, like, you know, some people are in the live reaction chat were like, oh, you know, maybe there's still some ill will there or something. I don't know. I don't know.
I guess the whole thing, like, I wouldn't look, once again, they don't use that venue anymore. Like, that's just a building. But it could be a heavy NXT influence at the shows for sure.
Could be.
But last time they were down in that area, I thought it'd be heavy, and it really wasn't that heavy. We'll see. I think there could, obviously, I think there'll be a handful of storylines because we're already seeing them. Obviously, we'll talk about with Cora Jade and Wesley. I could see, obviously, a continuation of both of those angles and maybe an additional one added. But that would seem petty if that was a reason. I wouldn't venture to think that would be a reason not to. But I'll tell you this, because I said it and hey, Nick did a great job as the champ, as world champ.
You did.
He was showing up. But I said early on, because before he won the title, he wasn't making it to all the shows.
Yeah,
like he had missed some tapings. But I'm like, if he's world champion and he's at all the shows, great job. Like that's I'm down with that. I just didn't want to get to a point where we had a world champion that wasn't there a lot of the time. Like if he was world champion right now and got suspended for a month and wasn't at tapings, that would be an issue.
Oh yeah.
That
no world champ. What? Yeah.
Yeah. So so they can do that. Like
maybe this is just something in his contract that every X amount of months he gets some weeks off. Who knows? We don't know. But anyways, so yeah, Nick Nemeth suspended for 4 weeks. Ryan Nemeth holding down the fort, so to speak.
For his brother.
His brother. Jeez, God. Damn drunk uncle. Next, great tag match here. I was really impressed. We get Team Elegance, Heather and Ash, and I gotta say, this is probably their best, in my opinion, in my professional podcasting opinion, their best showing as a tag team, and a darn good show for the King Bees. Who we learned former NWA Women's Tag Champs.
They were impressive.
And I read something else. They were former or current. Punk was saying in the live reaction, Mission Pro tag champs, which is Thunder Rosa's company down in Texas. So that makes sense.
Mission Pro Wrestling, yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, great showing for them. Really like this. What'd you think?
I'm a fan of Elegance, and you can't forget the personal concierge. Yeah, like if you mention them, you got to say he's there because he's a big part of the.
He's there, yes.
He's part of Elegance. But no, they were executing some good moves in this match. Like they looked like, hey, the praise of what we grew up with watching tag team wrestling. They're tag team specialists, J-Bone. They're working that ring psychology in there. They're looking every bit like the next Knockouts tag team champions. So I'm liking what I'm seeing, and I was impressed with their opponents as well. So no, I thought this was a sneaky good match on the card tonight.
It was. This episode was loaded with matches. When I started looking at the card for tonight, I was like, my goodness. This felt like double what they normally had. I don't know. It just seemed like they had a few extras in the tank here that were just, wow, impressive. So yeah, great showing for the King Bees and for Team Elegance. I don't want to poo-poo them at all because they really looked, as like I said, this seemed like one of their best actual tag matches. Because they're still a new team, on TV. And but then they start beating down the King Bees after the match. Spitfire comes out, and I said
big pop for Spitfire. Big pop for Spitfire.
It was. It was one of those things where it almost felt funny when Spitfire came out with the tag titles, because I said it felt like when I was watching it live, there's still that alternate universe where Team Elegance somewhere in an alternate universe is actually Knockouts tag champs right now.
The cardboard cutouts are tag champs right now.
This is true. Yes. So yeah.
And you know what? I just want to give a shout out because we didn't do it at the time, J-Bone.
Okay.
But Jody Thread helped train Trish Stratus before the Rumble.
Oh, yes. I did see that pop up, that news pop up during the Rumble. So that is huge. Fellow Canadian.
Good Canadian ladies there.
Yes. So yeah, if you saw that footage, it's out there. I think they showed that on, I don't know if it was just on social media.
I think the socials only.
Yeah.
But hey, I know everyone likes to talk about it, but I I'll be greedy there and say I wouldn't mind a little Stratisfaction in TNA.
Oh, absolutely. So said, "Oh, Dave, somebody recognizes you." Says, "This is the guy at all the TNA shows right now wearing a cowboy hat."
Well, down in Texas, you got to wear a cowboy hat.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So, yes, you are correct, David. You are correct.
Oh, in Chicago. There you go. Hey, you were in Chicago. Not the last time, but the time before that you are.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So, all right. We continue. We got some backstage stuff here with Mustafa Ali. He's trying to be, what's the word? Motivational. He's holding a backstage meeting.
State of the Union.
State of the Union. And what's
cabinet.
This is the interesting part. So he's got a new cabinet. The good hands are in suits to his right, and to his left, Bill. It took me a second.
You're like, who is that lady?
I'm like, exactly. I'm like, who is that? That is the formerly known as the Boricua Badass. Now in a pantsuit. Should we call her press secretary? I think you could call her the new press secretary to
press secretary.
Mustafa Ali
of the Ali campaign.
I was like, are you serious? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I love it.
And they're not the good hands anymore. They're the great hands.
Oh, is that what they're
the great hands.
Is that official?
Well, he said it. I don't know if it's official.
You know what? Let's check the roster page. Let's just for shits and
I'll say this, J-Bode. It might be as official as the Gulf of America.
It's
official in someone's mind, and that's about it.
Hey, it's everyone's recognizing it. It's Google
only in America, as Don King would say, J-Bode. No one outside of America does.
Okay, so on the website, they're still shown as the good hands, but they do have some new pictures here.
They have to get new gear that says great hands. If they don't have new gear with great hands, I'm ripping them. I was like, what? You went back to good? You're not great? The gear doesn't say it.
Right.
I'm like, you could be great, Hotch. You're just good.
I think someday Jason Hotch is destined for greatness. I truly think he is. It's just a matter of time. I think this is his year, Bill. I really do.
I'm a big Jason Hotch proponent. I feel like I was early on the Jason Hotch bandwagon.
Yeah.
Although
see.
I know I get grief from his tag partner when I talk too glowingly about him on this podcast.
Oh, of course. Of course. Take a settle down.
Settle down now. Simmer.
Yeah. Oh, Mayor is reminding me that there was a Leon Slater segment.
You can't forget this. The Leon Slater segment, J-Bode.
I'm sorry. It's some of these kind of just all went together. There was a segment where Leon Slater was backstage with the Hardys, and basically the Hardys are going to be forever in Leon Slater's corner. They are, and what's the word I'm looking for? When you back someone up professionally, it's not certified. It's
not certified.
It's like someone. It's like someone another few levels up gives you a compliment and certifies you, and I can't think of that.
They're promoting them.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, they're push. They're vouching. They're giving them the vouch. So do you know what they're giving them? Validation.
That too, yes. That's a good word for it. But yeah. Co-sign.
They co-signed on it.
The co-sign. This ain't
They
about
gave
alone.
the official Hardy stamp of approval.
We got a bunch of cosigns here. No, that's not what I meant. But it's no, not Bond. No, yeah, they're
Bond?
bonding.
James Bond.
James Bond. Yes.
Shaken, not stirred.
Yes. But yeah, so they're giving.
Oh,
them
there you go. The rub.
The rub. Yeah, there. Look at that. Yeah. Thank you. Both said it at the same time. The rub. Yes.
The rub.
All right. So then next we get okay. So in that segment with Ali and Tasha and the Great Hands, Tommy slowly walks up to Ali, looking for some validation from him.
Yes.
And he's like, no, I'm backing that guy over there. And he points at, this is kind of funny, but he points at Mike Santana. Mike Santana looks up and they focus. The camera goes from blurry to focus on him. And he's like, what? He's like, what?
Yeah, I think the whole idea was he was giving this like press conference in front of nobody, or like some guys, some ring crew guys.
Yeah, right. They didn't really ever show. Yeah, but still priceless. Good stuff from Ali. And
great to have him back.
Future world champ.
Ooh.
Future world champ.
Ooh.
Santana.
You're saying,
Santana.
Okay. Yeah, Mike Santana. Well, here, J-Bone, I'm just going to throw this out at you right now. Because I was talking to a friend and listener of the show.
Okay.
So he's probably going to be listening to this in the car in the next couple days.
Okay.
But he's been asking me, I was just talking to him the other day. Joe Hendry's our world champion, right?
Right.
I think we're all convinced Mike Santana is going to be world champion by the end of the year. In 2025, he'll hold the title.
I think by fall time. Yeah,
I agree. That's what I said as well.
Last quarter 2025. Yeah.
All right. Now, TNA is not afraid of face versus face.
Right.
However, I don't think that's the preferred method. I think you want a heel. So if you have to have a heel, Joe Hendry or Mike Santana, who's the heel in this situation? Like, who do you foresee by the fall becoming a heel? It's tough to imagine super baby face right now, Joe, although we know his shtick can be very heel if they want it to be.
No.
And Mike Santana, I think they may have wanted to be heel by now, but he gets such a great fan reaction. I don't think they've been able to do it.
Ali wants to become champ, but I don't think it's going to be Ali. I think it's going to be Kazarian.
Oh, and I don't know. There it is.
I don't know. I don't know how Kazarian. And I actually want this too because I love Kazarian. Kazarian is primo content right now in this company. He is in the
Although
best
I think
shape.
They're using Kazarian better now than they did at the end of last year.
Oh, absolutely.
I just think they were overusing Kazarian. He was on too much.
Yeah. Well, it's like Kazarian is still having matches, but he's carrying around that trophy.
He is.
And people forget
I think
that he
if
has
you just
that
have
trophy.
anybody on too much, it can just be overexposed. If you're not gonna if he won the world title last year, if he cashed it in, then that's fine. But then you have the opposite, like with JBL, who's not involved enough.
Yeah.
So you can go both ways with it. So you see Kazarian as the wedge in between the Joe Hendry and Mike Santana.
It'd be perfect. He's a veteran. He's in the greatest.
You're
shape
just calling
of
him a
his career.
transition champion now.
I think it's going to be more than that, though. Honestly, because the transition makes it sound like he's
not a lot of time. You think he wins it in the fall? Be here before you know it, J-Bone.
Kazarian can be world champ, and it could be as soon as Rebellion.
Whoa.
We gotta see how the next several weeks play out. Because like I said, I noticed Kazarian came out today, still holding that trophy, still reminding people, and commentary constantly reminding the folks at home that he's carrying this trophy around. This trophy is going to get used. It may not have been used successfully yet, thanks to JBL and others, but it's going to happen. He's going to end up smashing somebody in the head with it and cashing in, and it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to take place, but it's going to happen.
I think we've seen that trophy get destroyed more than it gets cashed in.
Well, I can't believe it's lasted this long. You know,
crazy, man.
I thought, but yeah, right. I thought by this point he'd just be like carrying around the cup and hitting people over the head with it. Like a bedpan. Boom, boom. So, but yeah, definitely going to be Kazarian.
All right.
Yeah. How and when, I don't know, but I feel like that would make sense. And then Ali.
So if it makes sense, that's what's not going to happen.
Wow.
Because they don't like doing things that make sense. They want to keep you on your toes.
Well, that's why I said I don't know how and when it's going to happen. Like if it comes out of nowhere and all of a sudden he becomes champ, it's still going to feel like $1 million. I'm still going to be excited about it because I want.
And then I think it gets into bigger questions on like, all right, what's going on with NXT and WWE? Like, well, hey, we talk about the very low probability, but they teased Joe Hendry and John Cena stuff. If that were ever to come to fruition, does that come to fruition with him holding the title belt or not holding the title belt?
Oh, that 17th World Championship.
Hey, they keep talking about AJ holding the title, Penta holding the title. They're putting a lot of stock in the TNA title on their broadcast lately, so you never know.
It could be SummerSlam. Who knows?
2 nights in New York.
If Cena if Cena wins the Elimination Chamber, I mean the odds are really against him at this point. But there's so many
That's sarcasm, J-Bone?
No, that's straight up facts.
Oh.
No,
he was the Rumble favorite, and now he's a long shot in the Elimination Chamber?
Yeah.
What am I missing?
Because you've got so many significant names so far in that chamber. You're not it's not John Cena in the Elimination Chamber with a bunch of Dominic Mysterios going
whoa.
You got some
what
significant
Dirty Dob
players.
Do to catch a stray from the Bone Man?
Oh, I'm just saying he's a great character, but he's not winning any he's not winning any championships lately. He will absolutely in the future, but he ain't now. Right now he's just a sassy pants. He's Liv's little bitch.
Whoa.
But no, I still love him, but that's just what he is right now. He's a great character. But John wins that Elimination Chamber in Toronto.
Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Toronto. And guess who pops up in Toronto?
Say his
name. No, that may not happen. Anyways,
it may not happen.
Cena goes on to Mania. Cody wins his umpteenth championship. And then maybe it's just an exhibition, not necessarily for title, because he already has a title. He's not going to lose it.
Okay.
It could be John Cena versus Hendry exhibition somewhere.
So you're saying it's like Thunder Lips versus Rocky?
Yeah. It's.
This is an exhibition.
Yeah, and Thunder Lips is 3 feet taller than Rocky. It's whatever. And then he throws him, 50 feet into the 20th row.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Anyways, I hope you guys are entertained by this. Back to the show.
Show.
Kaz versus Callihan. This was goofy. Callihan, and I mean it a good way. So Callihan doesn't even make it
before
to
the match, Mance Warner attacked Sami.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, okay. That's the goofy.
Callihan doesn't. He's dying. Mance is killing him, and Kaz is like,
he can't go. He can't go.
Kaz is like, just count me the winner. Just count me the winner. And the ref's like, whatever, you win. Okay, yeah. And by the way, there was a lot of people in the live chat making fun of this guy's hair. I mean,
going after the hair?
I don't know. I'm like, really? I'm like, he seems like a nice ref. I don't know. I don't know anything about him. But anyways, yeah, poor guy. But yeah, it's Callihan's attacked by Mance, and the ref's like, can you make it? He makes it down to the ring. He's choking, he's hacking, he's dying. He's like, yeah, he's like, ring the bell. So yeah, he rings a bell. Kaz beats him shortly. Chicken wing. Callihan taps out. Manser attacks him even more. And this is the part that cracked me up. This we get 2 appearances here. We get one at the top of the stage when they're trying to get Manser off of Callihan so he can get down to the ring. We get the appearance of what I call the Donut Squad.
The Donut Squad.
The Donut Squad. Security. Looks like a bunch of guys that sat in catering and ate all the fucking donuts.
Jay's on a roll tonight. We might have to bring back the Jay gun of the night.
Oh man, you should have heard me. You should have heard me while I was watching Raw. I roasted Charlotte like I've never roasted anyone ever. Because I don't know if you remember this, but Charlotte coming out on Raw looked like she was basically attacked with silly string. She's got this skimpy little getup, 2-piece, whatever, top, bottom. I'm looking for something to, spruce it up a bit. You got anything in back? Something to add to this? Something. Give
it a little flair.
Something dangly with some flair. Something. People backstage say no more. Grabs a can of silly string. Oh my God. Go look at what she was wearing again. You will piss yourself laughing. I'm like, what? And the
high fashion.
That's not fashion.
For 5-year-olds.
It's silly string. I'm like, I could
neon silly string at least.
I'm gonna go to Hollywood and I'm gonna put silly string on $5 thongs and sell them for $5,000. Period.
There you go.
End of subject. I'm gonna have my own damn show.
There you go. J-Bo's Essentials.
Bill's gonna be in front row and be like, "There's the bone man. The guy's a genius."
Genius. Go RoboCop. I'd buy that for $1.
That's right. Captain Silly String here. Anyways, Donut Squad stops him, shows up again after the beatdown, And they're like, please stop beating him up so we can go to the back and eat more donuts. They finally Callihan's like, would you get out of my way? And they're pouncing on each other again. And it's great. I can't wait till these two actually get in an official match, or one of those, what do they call them? Lights out matches where the company's not responsible for what's about to happen. Put them. What is that match that the fans have been clamoring for a handful of years now since the pandemic, and it never happened? Was that Lockdown?
Lockdown, yeah. Any kind of steel cage match.
Yeah, anything like that.
Lockdown was officially the first show canceled that was scheduled for Canada. And that's the multiple, all matches are in the cage. Yeah. But yeah, they have not done a cage match in quite some time. Was the last cage match Sami? You got to go all the way back to that. So, the Access TV debut. I know we have this discussion every couple of months. It's been a while.
That was when Sami won against Brian Cage.
Mm-hmm. Now I wonder with some of the bigger venues, does that maybe put in because the whole issue with a cage, right, is you have to either start the show with it and then take it down, or you have to have enough time to build it. But obviously with WWE, they have these bigger venues where you can drop the cage. Once again, we're talking, that's a much more expensive proposition. But if you're playing these bigger venues, that could come into play, which would make it a lot easier.
Yeah. Yep. So I feel like that'd be good. Anything that related to that for Mance and Callihan, you got to put them in some kind of cage.
And Critical Sting, just anytime we mention those shows, Lockdown and Outbreak, which was the show after that, getting canceled because of the Outbreak forcing a lockdown, which was just like they say, The Simpsons predicts the future.
Yeah.
TNA premium live events predicted a sad future outlook at the time. And that always feels like we can't go back to lockdown because of that.
You're going to jinx it. Yeah, right. Never again. No, I don't have.
They are bringing back the old shows. With Genesis we just had after not having it for a bit. So Lockdown was a classic. I'm very much in favor of the return of Lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah, WWE's doing it too. They got a Vengeance Day for NXT happening Saturday.
It's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up.
So, by the way, congrats to them on signing Ricky Starks. That was huge. Huge news on Wednesday. Or
and
Tuesday,
we'll get in. Well, when we finish up with the main event, we'll have some discussion again because we have a final match tonight.
Yes, we do.
Not a probably final match tonight.
Yeah.
Although we've seen that happen before in TNA and people come back. So, I'll never say 100%.
Yeah. So in theory for now, you never know. But
yes. A likely final match.
Yeah. Gia Miller backstage with Josh Alexander, kind of getting his feels before the show. And he says he's feeling a bunch of different things.
Vibe check,
yes. JDC backstage with Leon Slater. Leon Slater's not feeling it. Just wants JDC just to leave him alone. They start fighting. Now, this is what I didn't get. Someone was in the background after these two were, breaking it up. And I didn't see who it was. Someone in the chat said it was Cody.
Cody Deaner?
Diener. Yes, thank you. Sorry. It was Diener, and I was like, oh, I didn't think it was Diener. I thought it was Brian Myers in the background, but that's because I just couldn't tell who it was. Someone with a beard, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we were supposed to know, because even Critical Sting, and he has eyes. He has very good eyes.
He does.
Said, look like Diener to me.
Yeah, so I don't know if
completely clear. It was slightly obscured.
Right. So I don't know if that was like supposed to be. He was supposed to have, be a part of that, and kind of, some foreseeing into the future, something going on. I don't know. I have no idea, but nonetheless, I think this is just Leon Slater slowly picking away at the system. So,
hey, that's a double Leon Slater segment night.
Yeah. So, they're definitely all in on Leon Slater between getting from the Hardys and this. So,
and like I said, it's all about ratings with JDC. He brings eyes. Let's get weird.
Yeah. Next we got Xia Brookside versus NXT's Cora Jade. Fun little back and forth match. I'm not super impressed with Cora Jade. I feel like she's a little too nonchalant, but I like her finisher. Her finisher is definitely an exclamation point to the end of the match.
Kind of comes out of nowhere.
Isn't it similar to I'm trying to think who it's similar to. It's a form of the DDT, right?
Yeah, it's a DDT. Future Shock DDT.
It's almost kind of like this guy. Yeah.
Nevermore.
Raven. Love Raven. We need more Raven in TNA. But yeah, Cora Jade gets the win here. Any other thoughts on this? I kind of,
just like Cora Jade got inserted into the NXT women's title match, right? Coming up. They just added her.
That's going on. Well, right now it's a fatal 4-way. So it's Julia versus Cora Jade versus Bailey versus Roxanne Perez.
That's a pretty primo spot.
It is.
Those are big names.
My guess is it's going to be Roxanne Perez's last match in NXT. Mm. It is just interesting how it happened, because she showed up looking like Bailey used to, with this, the tassels and everything.
She was a hugger.
Yeah, like she was a hugger, the headband, the happy music, almost like,
circus music. Were there blow-up men there too?
I don't think so. You
gotta go all in. Come on.
But Bailey kind of looked over her shoulder, like, what the hell am I hearing? It's like, I recognize that. Why is that playing? And it was Roxanne Perez. It was hilarious. I couldn't tell it. I'd have to watch it back, because I was just watching parts of it. I'd have to watch back and see if it was actually her praising Bailey, as in, yeah, let's go, Bailey, as in a tribute to her, or if she was just, effing with her. But nonetheless, that's going to be quite the match on Saturday. We may see a TNA Knockouts champ get involved.
Oh, you're going to say we're going to hear a siren?
We might.
Woo.
Well, no, I'm thinking, because this is because Cora Jade
you're saying Masha get involved. Oh, I thought you were saying the re-debut again of Jordan Grace at that show.
No, I think that's coming eventually. It may happen on Thursday. I don't know. Ricky Starks is probably going to be there too. This is a big time for NXT, and the fact that we're getting new faces in NXT, along with current and former TNA people showing up in NXT is very exciting. So you get a little bit of everything going on, and you don't know when it's going to happen.
We actually have TNA storylines going on NXT and vice versa. So
yeah, and it's it's a little bit here, it's a little bit there. I don't feel like it's getting overdone. The other week it seemed like there was a lot happening, and it almost seemed like too much. But there's a stuff with the Rascals. We'll get to that in a little bit.
You got to set things up. It's going to take time to set things up, and then
it does.
You let them marinate. Put it in the smoker for a while.
Oh yeah, that definitely has to do with the Rascals. Low
and slow. Yeah.
So next, the Treehouse, good old Treehouse. Next we got Santino talking to Tessa Blanchard.
Oh.
He's absolutely had it with her. He's like, why do you keep ducking out of matches that are happening? And she's like, all these people are beneath me and I don't have to face them and whatever. And Santino's basically like, you're going to wrestle next week or there's going to be some dire consequences to you and your contract here.
Dire?
Yeah. So yeah, she's gonna face someone. I don't know who, but we're gonna find out.
Somebody.
but I like the fact, I like her character. I like the fact that she thinks she's so badass and that she's above everyone. I like how bold she is and how confident and cocky she is. But I think he's right. We do need to, and I don't need to see her wrestle all the time because she is kind of a special case right now, I think, because she is controversial and she's a new face. She's like the new toy of TNA.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's going to be good to see her wrestle again.
Okay.
We got a Rascals promo here. And Wesley, and I just put Wesley and Company. It's Tyson and
Wesley and Company. Wesley and Friends.
And Friends, yeah. Cue the Bailey music.
Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe?
Tyson and Tyreek. There we go.
Yeah, Tyson and Tyreek.
There we go. So they're going down to the ring, and they're like, of course they're outnumbered, but the Rascals have a friend that they're leaning on for this rivalry, and out comes Ace Austin. Great to see. Ace Austin already faced one of these guys a week or two ago.
Yep.
So yeah, it's appropriate that he gets thrown into this. So yeah, it's I feel like they gotta put this to bed soon. I think with West, this has definitely lasted on and off several months, but it's nice to get some fresh faces in there as far as who's backing up Wesley now. Mm-hmm. That's new. So
yeah, that's new. A little twist.
Yeah, and it gives Tyreek and Tyson some good exposure to be on TNA. So,
yep,
good stuff there.
Oh, here we go. Critical Sting for pronunciation. It's Igwe.
Igwe? Oh, okay.
Igwe. Thank you, Critical Sting.
All right.
That was a critical phonetics lesson.
It is.
Which we appreciate.
Always. Mayor is wishing the worst for Ariana Grace.
Oh.
Jeez Louise.
Not the liaison.
I don't know if she's up for that. She seems terrified of Tessa. I think
for good reason.
I think Santino's got to come up with something a little more Tessa's level as far as a threat. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know who, I don't know what, but we'll see. Hell, maybe Jazz. Who knows?
Oh.
Then we get a reintroduction of First Class.
Money.
Absolute money. Yeah. Do you remember any of the main points of the promo? I just remember
First Class upgrade.
They're getting an upgrade.
First Class upgrade. Upgrade.
Now, what does that mean? They're getting a new member?
Maybe. Getting an upgrade. Because I don't think we know what it's going to be yet. But yeah, is it an upgrade? Is it going to be a title? Titles? A new member?
I feel like a new member to help.
It feels like it could be expanded. First Class. Okay, yeah. First Class could be expanded. Could be
I don't have any clue who, but
might not be someone on the roster.
The way the industry is right now, who knows? Who knows? Could be a fresh face. Could be the Bulgarian Brute.
Oh.
Just off the top of my head. Just had to throw it out there.
Okay.
We'll see. Because I know a lot of people are assuming with the recent releases from AEW, excuse me, certain ones are going to WWE. They're just assuming Malachi Black going to the WWE. We already saw Ricky Starks show up in NXT. And I've been saying the last few weeks, if the artist formerly known as Rusev, if Rusev shows up anywhere, honestly, I feel like he could get a creative, fresh start in TNA and be booked as
an interesting one to bring in. Because I think he could do something in TNA.
Yeah.
I think he's someone, because you know me, like with a lot of the releases, like I think you got to take a look on what you would actually do with them. The whole Pokemon got to catch them all. Not a good method in my mind. But if you go, okay, and that could be someone that either has potential or that already established. But I think when I'm looking at more established acts, that's where you got to be more careful, because just like anything else in business, the more established, the more you got to be willing to put up some cash. And if you're going to spend that cash, you better have a plan. Because if you don't have a plan, then that's probably not going to work out well for you. So, but obviously he has a lot of connections with one of our announcers, and we know under some other people, they were very interested in bringing him in the first time he was released. So I think that was pretty close to happening the first time around. So we'll see. But I do see a potential there for that working. So.
Yeah. All right. We got second title match of the night. Knockouts title on the line.
Royale winner.
Masha Slamovich versus Savannah Evans.
Friend of the show.
I just lost the connection. You still hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, good. I feel like this is a tremendous showing for Savannah Evans. She really seemed like she was the brute that we've been waiting to see come back for a while.
Yeah, you kind of had it at the beginning of the show, like some similarities. The world champ and the Knockouts World Champ going against like Jake something, Savannah Evans, similar style, like the bigger, as you said, brute, like we saw with Jake to start the show, like someone that was going to give a physical battle. And that's what I think what we saw in this one. Masha facing a physically, like you look at it comparatively, it's like a David Goliath type thing. You have a much bigger competitor going against them. So it's like, okay, the champ's taking on a challenge as they're establishing their reigns. So, but once again, I thought just like Jake did a good job, I think Savannah did a good job here, especially since we haven't seen a lot from Savannah this last 6 months or so. So to having her win the Battle Royal and having a good showing here, that's good for her moving forward too. Absolutely. And then obviously Masha's establishing her reign here, but obviously, she's doing the back and forth with NXT and Cora Jade. That's obviously where that's all leading to.
That's what you call multitasking. That's a sign of a great champ.
There you go.
Yeah, she really is. She's knocking it out of the park. And I think it's going to take her a while to get up to that status of someone who's recognized like Jordan Grace.
Yeah.
But
that was earned over time.
Yeah. Masha's done amazing stuff on the indies, and she is a certifiable badass. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
she's wrestled so many men on the
indie circuit, and she's obviously doing a lot of hardcore matches. Like she's earning her stripes on the indies. And then obviously you still have the Tessa factor out there where she gets involved at some point.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen. But I like the fact that they're keeping them as far away as they possibly can
because that's inevitable where it's going to lead. So you want to try to separate them as much as possible until it happens. But that's coming to a head, obviously. Maybe as early as
April
Slammiversary. I don't know if you can put that off to Bound for Glory.
I think it's happening Mania weekend.
Could for sure. Well, yeah, you're going to start seeing them. If it's that Slammiversary, they're going to start teasing that near Rebellion and Mania week and all that.
Yeah.
I think it's time for the main event.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you see them match up someone with Tessa just to make her an even more significant force.
Yeah.
Who I don't know, but it just feels like it could happen. Main event time, yeah. Josh Alexander's final match in TNA. Eric Young really showing his just how good he is, how good of a veteran he is.
Well, he was the standard until Mike Santana took the title off him. But you're looking at he was the face of the company for a few years there. So obviously great in the ring. Post the North breakup and Ethan leaving, he really took that mantle and ran with it. Had a great run, no doubt. And a good showing at the end here. Obviously, he passed the mantle to Santana on the way out, but then kind of finished his own storyline here with a Team Canada connection and Eric Young passing that mantle with the Northern Armory to him. So kind of doing it twice out the door. I can't ask for more than that. So, and also going out as like he was still as a singles run majority face. He had gone heel obviously for a while there, but to get the fans to give him like kind of that, hey, you deserve it type of reaction, and wish him well on the way out, turning him face to kind of end his way out the door. But we'll see, because I know a lot of people in the chat, it gets into where he's going to be going, and Eric Young obviously did well in this, but I know like Jordan Grace is saying, hey, see you soon for NXT. But then I know a lot of people are thinking AEW, but I think it's open to interpret. I know he's not doing indies. Sometimes that speaks to a WWE model, but obviously wish Josh the best. He gave a ton to the company, so always, just like Jordan, always wish those the best, and good luck, because I think it's one of those things when you have a career like that here, just like hey, EY left years ago and now he's back. I think the door is always open for these individuals that do it the right way, go out the right way, can always come back. TNA's family, the Olive Garden of professional wrestling. When you're here, your family.
Right. Yeah. You have a career like Josh Alexander, where he went from just being the guy in the background to kind of like the straight guy to Ethan Page in that tag team. And Ethan Page was
reuniting soon.
I think there's a darn good chance of that, and I think that'd be great. As far as like tag teams that would really shake up NXT, you're talking about TNA's longest reigning tag champs right there.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So I think that's something down the road we might be seeing sooner rather than later. But yeah, Josh has done so much for this company. He's had highs and lows, and he's been such an amazing backbone for this company. So yeah, it's sad to see him go. He ended up losing this one. Eric Young and his infamous pile driver, plus a few beat downs from the Northern Armory to boot. Josh Alexander goes out his back, which is, if you know the industry, that's proper. A lot of guys, when they leave a company, they go out on their back. So
yeah, if they don't, then that's a problem.
Yeah. But you never know. He's got a lot to weigh. He's not just a single guy that can float all over the world. He's got a wife. He's got children. Yeah, which means relocation. From Canada to possibly Florida. Or somewhere. We'll see. But I think he could absolutely, just between guys like Ricky Starks showing up, Jordan Grace, and a future Josh Alexander, just absolutely going to turn NXT upside down.
There you go. So some stuff to look forward to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a very fitting ending, this closing chapter to Josh's TNA story. But obviously all wishing him well here at TNI, going forward, just like we do with everyone else. So now we'll be paying close attention to what move the Walking Weapon makes, and see obviously where EY takes the Northern Armory going forward as a faction. So
as strong as he was looking at the end of this show, honestly, it would not shock me if Eric was world champion again within the next, say, year and a half.
Okay. So yeah, once again, the very crowded main event scene right now in TNA.
Yeah, a lot of different things going on, and things being shifted around. It's a very exciting time for TNA, and
And live next Thursday. Live.
Yeah, live next Thursday. Cannot wait. Bill, you're going to be there at Full Sail.
I will be there.
It'll be interesting to see what Full Sail looks like. I imagine similar to how it looked before, but you never know.
You never know. You never know how they're going to set it up.
Well, yeah. So that's it for this one. Any final thoughts, Bill?
No, obviously we started it. A lot of changes happening, so we'll see. It's tough to tell. Like the first shows, like I don't know if we'll see much of a difference like that soon, but I think over the next couple of months, you'll probably see some production looks change. Hopefully for the better. And then obviously we started out with that great news about Chris Bay. So I think that's a good way to close it. Just once again, on his birthday, putting it out there, obviously walking again. So once again, all love to Chris Bay here from TNI. Always wishing you the best. So keep it up, man. We're right there with you, supporting you every step of the way, brother.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, to wrap up this one, for this guy, I'm J-Bone. This is TNI, your Thursday night TNA connection, where we do all things TNA, behind the scenes and reviewing the episode, covering news, everything top to bottom. Make sure you go check out our UK brethren from across the pond. They go live on Wednesdays and do a nice little preview to the up and coming episode, plus a review from the last episode, along with news and interviews. They just had a couple more interviews on their show, so go check that out. Great to see. And make sure you check out all the links in the description, including our sponsor, Manscaped. Code TNI for 20% off and free shipping. Not bad, Bill. And
No doubt.
I need to get some Manscaped stuff soon. I keep putting it off. I just need to do it. So put that code TNI to use, and I think you should too. So go check that out.
That's right.
And get the right tool for the right. How does Kyle say it? Right tool for the right job, something like that.
There you go.
All right. So, and on your way out, folks, you know what to do. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications. Why? So that you know when more of our content hits your screen. Say goodnight, Bill.
Good night. Go Birds!